Good morning, everyone. This is the Town of Scituate update on March 22nd. I'm Karen Canfield from our Select Board, and I'm here with Jim Bedreau, our Town Administrator, and Bill Burkhead, our School Superintendent. So we have a lot to cover today, so I'm going to flip it right over to Mr. Bedreau to give us the update on town issues.
So good morning. Lots of news on the vaccine and on the phases of reopening. We are now in phase 2, step 3 of the vaccine schedule. Residents 60 and over, or residents in certain job categories, are now eligible to get vaccinated. Those workers include grocery and convenience store workers, restaurant and cafe workers, food pantry workers or volunteers, public work employees, court system workers, and funeral directors and funeral workers, to name a few. The complete list is available on mass.gov. They can now go to vaccinesignup.mass.gov, enter their information, and be put in the queue for getting a vaccine at one of the mass vaccination sites. When the vaccine is available, they will get notified, and they have 24 hours then to respond back that they will take that vaccine appointment. That is only right now available at the mass vaccination sites. CVS and the Marshfield site still post when they have vaccine available. So you need to keep checking those continuously to see when you come up. Again, if you have problems, 211 or call the Council on Aging. The town of Scituate has gotten a very limited dose of vaccinations. We will be posting the link for a vaccination clinic this Thursday, today at noontime. Again, anybody 60 or over now or within those categories are eligible. And again, that link will go on our website live at noontime, and people will be able to sign up first come, first serve for that vaccination. The state has also changed the out-of-state travel order. It is now an out-of-state travel advisory. Starting today, all persons entering Massachusetts, including returning residents, are advised to quarantine for 10 days upon their arrival if they've been out of state for 24 hours or more. This was formerly a travel order, so the advisory does not apply to people who leave and come back within 24 hours. It does not apply to people who receive a negative COVID test within 72 hours of their return, and it doesn't apply to people who have been fully vaccinated for COVID-19. So the travel order is now a travel advisory, and that does change stuff for people coming back and forth to the state. Since last Monday, we had 22 new cases in Scituate. That's now from 33 the previous week. So our numbers are still trending in the 20 to 30 range. We are still in the yellow on the COVID positivity map with a 2.55% positivity rating over the past 14 days. That's up from 2.214 of the previous week. The Commonwealth is at 1.95, up slightly from 1.67 of the previous week. So again, we seem to be in that area where we're kind of stuck without the numbers going up and numbers going down. So we need people to continue to be vigilant, to wear their masks. However, the numbers are good enough that as of today, we are in phase 4, step 1 of the reopening process. I think this is the first time we've been in this phase since the whole pandemic started over a year ago. Under this phase, fans can return to indoor and outdoor stadiums like Gillette, Fenway, and the TD Garden at 12% capacity. Public gatherings are limited to 100 indoors, 150 outdoors. Private gatherings remain capped at 10 indoors and 25 outdoors. Exhibition halls and convention centers may open while adhering to guidelines, and dance floors will be permitted at events like weddings, although I believe the Macarena, the Electric Slide, and the Hustle will still be banned at this time. And if they're not, they should be. If you want to continue, on this reopening the economy, again, we ask that you continue to wear your mask, continue to follow the protocol, stay safe. The vaccine is here, we're getting it out, and the more people we get vaccinated, the more we'll be able to reopen as time goes on. Widows Walk Golf Course is now closed. We are preparing for the reopening, so the golf course is closed to walkers and dog walkers. We anticipate that we'll be opening the course April 1st. We have received the bids for the clubhouse work. They were slightly higher than we thought. We also are going to include work on the parking lot in that. So we'll be seeking additional funds at the town meeting in April to complete that project and get it started. As we announced last week, we received a $400,000 complete streets grant. This will finish the sidewalk on Country Way from Huey down to the Greenbush. We'll finish that as soon as we can. It's going to be held up a little bit, I think, by National Grid with pole moving. But right now, you can, once this project is done, you can start in North Scituate, walk all the way down to the harbor, and back up First Parish to Country Way in a whole loop, always on a sidewalk. safely and nicely. So that's a real good thing for us. That was the highway department. Our engineering division did that. So congratulations to them. Cole Parkway and Cedar Point are still going full steam. We do ask you to stay out of Cedar Point. They are working in some narrow areas. It's very difficult to get by in vehicles, and it's even more difficult if people are walking. So if you don't need to be out there during construction, please stay away. Senior Center, as we talked about last week, is nearing completion. The staff is in there. The Veteran Service Office is in there. Right now, they are available by appointment. The building is scheduled to be done and ready to open to the public on April 1st, although the landscaping will take significantly longer than that, and it's going to be dependent upon the weather. The water department will be flushing again this week. They'll be in the west end from Route 3A towards Norwell on Manlot, Clapp, Grove, and First Parish, as well as the surrounding side streets. So please monitor your water. If you see brown water, the best way to do it is flush it from an outside spigot until it runs clear. Finally, next Monday at 5:30, the Select Board and the Advisory Committee will be having a joint public hearing on the FY22 budget. We will also go through the articles on the warrant, the agenda, and the link for that will be posted on the town website later this week. And that's what I have for today.
Great. Thanks, Jim. I'll flip it right over to Superintendent Burkett.
Thank you, Chairperson Canfield, and good morning, everybody. I'm glad Town Administrator Boudreau did not include any dances that do with Casey and the Sunshine Band as my favorite, so I'm relieved. So this week, we're COVID update for the schools. We had 7 new cases in the district. It's down 1 from the previous 2 weeks. They've both been at 8, so a slight improvement there. And school community is notified daily on each occurrence in our schools, and they're up to date. Tonight we have a pretty comprehensive school committee meeting, and I'll just celebrate or elaborate on some of the highlights. We will be celebrating student learning as part of how we kick things off at school committee meetings typically, and the Jenkins School will be highlighted this evening. I'll also be presenting my recommendation for phase 3 of our reopening plan, which is to reopening our schools full-time for grades 6 through 12 students, and the school committee will be voting potentially on this evening. We will also be updating the committee and our community on our personnel searches for the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, Director of Athletics, and Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And finally, we have 3 pretty important school committee policies that will be discussed on a first reading this evening. And finally, I'd like to give a shout out for what I'm calling in line with our baseball season opening up. Opening day next Monday. We're really excited here. We're entering the final planning stages of welcoming back our K through 5 students full-time and in person next Monday. I want to thank the dedication of our administrators and staff for all the work that's been done in preparation for this, including making our schools extremely safe, but also preparing for the excitement and energy that will be entering our hallways with full capacity. And I also would like to finally thank our students and their families for their patience and perseverance as we begin to reopen school and to return to normal. So thank you for that. That's all I have for today.
Great. Thank you, Superintendent. To conclude this update, I just want to announce that tomorrow night, the Select Board will be meeting at 6:30 via Zoom. And there are a few things on here I just wanted to let folks know we're going to be talking about. We will start in an executive session at 6:30, so you don't have to rush on. That'll be about a 15-minute conversation, but we will be getting an update from our counselor and town administrator on the shellfish agriculture proposals that are outstanding. We will be revisiting a very exciting proposal to use Appleton Field, which is over in the West End, excuse me, West End, as a community garden. So that'll be a discussion tomorrow night. We have a public hearing at the beginning of the meeting to allow Salt Society to continue with their outdoor dining. And I think that's going to be the first of many uses of our outdoor space in the harbor. We will be voting on a sewer connection change, which will address a lot of our I&I problems, which will only impact those homes that are being sold. So you might want to listen to that if you're thinking about selling your house soon. And finally, Jim will be presenting the results of the Pier 44 survey, which I know I get a lot of calls about. People are pretty excited about it. So we'll begin the conversation of what comes next based on what the community has provided us. And despite what Jim said, I think that we should organize a public event on Central Field and have a mass Macarena event. That's my first.
Six pot.
No
Singing.
So that's the town news today. We look forward to seeing you guys out and about on this gorgeous week.
Tu cuerpo para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Dala tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. Macarena.